I'd have to say there's at least three of my favourites. My first is my first win ever in race cars, which was in New Zealand at the start of 2015. The two cars in front of me crashed at the second last corner on the final lap. And yeah, being 14 years old at the time and to get a win in New Zealand Formula Ford was really important to me. And then I'd also have to say my win in Mexico, for sure. That's where my whole dream started to become a reality almost, and that would have to be my favourite. I started racing because Mark Webber was my inspiration, actually. I was 10 years old at the time, and he was in the hunt for the World Championship, and it was the battle between Vettel and Alonso and Hamilton, and yeah, that's where it all began. And my dad, he works at the F1 races selling merchandise, so I always knew that he was off somewhere at these motorsport events, and it was that year that I really became inspired and really wanted to become like those guys. I did my first ever race at the end of 2011 in go-karts, and yeah, competed at a national level really, and then at the end of 2013 I decided to have a race in Las Vegas, and it was my only international kart race ever to date, and I was able to finish 6th in my second year of go-karting, and that was the sign that we could actually take this quite seriously. To be able to come over here, being an Australian and coming from the other side of the world and having to sacrifice everything is a big step, and it makes the racing more enjoyable, makes everything more challenging, and it yeah, it really influences what happens out on track. I'm living with pretty much family friends, so they're really kind to me, and they've made my step a lot easier. But yeah, for sure, you're always missing your parents and your friends, and I've had to leave everyone back at home just to race a car, and it's a massive sacrifice that you have to make, and yeah, hopefully it'll be worth it. I have an excellent bond with my race team at Arden. I'm exceptionally close to my engineer Jack, and the team manager Ben Bloomfield and Gary Horner I'm really close with, and yeah, it's a big family type environment, and it makes the transition a lot easier. I'm not really homesick that much, and no, it's definitely a social and professional type relationship. After race weekends I'll go out with them to a cafe 2 days after or so, or I stay at my teammate's house, or I go to my engineer's house and stay there the night. And yeah, being away from everyone is quite tough, but because I'm with such good people and such a great group of guys, it makes everything really easy. I think no matter what you do, you're learning. Like, you never want to be going backwards, and you always, every time you're out on track, you learn something new, whether it's a good session or a bad session. We've had our ups and downs this year. We've had suspension braking in qualifying, and we've had races where someone's taken me out, and it's just the way it goes, and it's motorsport, and it's all part of character building, and you just have to learn from it, really. Nah, I think it's important to tick all the boxes, and I don't mind whatever I get to do. I just want to race the car, and it's my favourite thing, really, and whether I be racing a trolley or a race car, it's enjoyable. My obvious goal for this year is to win the championship, and it's a really competitive field. There's a lot of us going at it trying to get that #1 spot, and only one of us can win, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. And in terms of the future, I'd like to see myself moving forward progressively. Not sure where it'll take me, but I'm just taking it year by year. I see myself racing anything, really. I love rally cars, I love endurance cars, I love NASCAR, I love IndyCar, I love Formula 1. And they're all just dreams that I have, and it's something I want to race. So simulators is definitely a new experience for me. I never played that much PlayStation or anything, so yeah, it's all new, and I'm amazed at how real it actually feels. And Josh and I, we're working really hard to get that sim to a really realistic level and making it really good. Essentially, they just prepare me for the upcoming races. Racing in the British Championship, I'm going to all these new tracks like Brands Hatch and Alton Park and Donington, and I hadn't been there before. And with the help of the simulator, you get to drive all these new tracks, and you learn how to race on them properly. And I think it's really important, and it's reflected on my results this year.